Release the Kraken! In this video we're going to look at the Titan sub. And they claim 5 people died. Now I do not believe anything in the mainstream media. But they tell us 5 people died. One of the men was called Suleiman Dawood. Solomon, Temple of Solomon, Freemasonry. Dawood means David. So thanks for your comments and information. You also had one of the characters actually related to somebody who was actually on the real Titanic. And so this Titan craft went down to see the Titanic wreckage, which went down on April the 15th, 1912. On April the 15th, you had the Hillsborough disaster. You had 96 people die, and the Queen died aged 96 in her 97th year. And then they put the number up on Hillsborough from 96 to 97. But remember, the Queen died at 96 in her 97th year. This is all connected to La Palma. The collapse of La Palma, which is going to release the Kraken. And that's what I think this is all about. And if you look at the names here, you had a guy called Hamish Harding. Hamish, of course, are a religious group that reject technology. And that's what I think is going to happen, is that during this incident, people are going to live like the Hamish. And it's going to be hard for them. And you also have the HH88, which is connected to Trump, and which is connected to the Charlie Chaplin character from Germany, who became Chancellor in 1933. And in 1933, there was a film called Deluge, which showed the flooding of New York. In the film Clash of the Titan, it shows the flooding of a city. And it's interesting that this Titan story happened at the time of the summer solstice, so the longest day. And it's related to this scene and then the flooding of Argos in Clash of the Titans. It is done. As the King of has abandoned his daughter and her child to the sea. So the men were abandoned in the sea. Now, this seems like I do not believe the story, because in that vessel, which was 22 foot in length, that's 22, that's a Freemasonic number. Half of it is for the tanks, oxygen tanks. It had no toilet, they had no food. If they had survived, they would be full of excrement, then they had no food, and they had no oxygen. To me, the story is fishy. Excuse the pun.
You will be punished. Cruel and ruthless lying. Blasphemy. How dare the tyrant free to me to begin his savage jealousy? Cowardly revenge?
Cretius has always shown devotion to the gods of Olympus in the past. He has built many magnificent temples and dedicated them to you, great Zeus, father of the gods.
100 good deeds are all doomed for one murder. 1,000 temples or statues or sanctuaries were dedicated to me. Or to you, Hera, my wife. Or to Thetis, lovely goddess of the sea. Or to you, Athene, ever wise and full of care. Or to Aphrodite, goddess of love. Nothing can wipe out or forgive this. To raise the wind and the sea, destroy Argos! To make certain that no stone stands, that no creature crawls, I command you to let loose the last of the Titans. Let loose the Kraken! The kingdom of Odysseus must be destroyed, as you command. Yes.
And in that scene, Thetis says, I think this is in the scene where, in the later part of the movie, where they release the Kraken again, and there's the Clash of the Titans with the Medusa against the Kraken. Thetis, the goddess, says, it's coming to the longest day, it's time to release the Kraken. And I think this is all related to La Palma, who has connections with the Queen. The earthquake swarm on La Palma started on 9/11. Then it started erupting on the 18th of September. A year later, the Queen was buried on that day. And it's also connected to the Virgin Mary and the patron saint of La Palma being the Virgin Mary, which is a Black Madonna for the Canary Islands. And this is all connected to Isis. Isis, the stone which holds up the arch. And that was the Queen. And all of it is symbolism. That's what this is about. And you have this is what I talk about, predictive program from Masonic Shield Jeff Taylor. This is the kind of predictive programming they're constantly repeating in the media.
In support of Marine Le Pen, with one of Macron's MPs, Jacqueline Mackay, likening it to an advancing tsunami.
That's the typical predictive programming and suggestion that the media constantly repeat. This is on Paul Joseph Watson's channel.
Went in a submarine called the Titan. The Titan is the name of the fictional ship that sort of predicted the Titanic disaster. Before the Titanic was built, there was a fictional book about a ship called the Titan that sunk and went missing or whatever. So they named it. I don't think they did this intentionally, but they named it Titan, the submarine. And so now it's down there with the wreckage of the Titanic, and it's just sitting there.
So a bit of a coincidence. This is all planned. And as I say, the names, it has biblical names of David and Solomon. And I want to recommend this channel, who made a very interesting video. He noticed how there was a correlation between an earthquake in La Palma and Paris. And in Paris you had an earthquake, then you had an explosion. And where the earthquake and explosion happened in Paris, you have a Statue of Liberty and a Capitol building. And you also have a fountain and water. And I think this is connected to La Palma. All these events are connected to La Palma. So that channel is A3 Anomalies, and I will leave a link to that video. It's an interesting video. And it's all connected to April the 15th, when the Titanic went down. On that same day you had the Hillsborough disaster, which was some kind of sacrifice for the Queen. And the La Palma event is also some kind of sacrifice. Thank you.